Perfect. Thank you. Okay. That's strange, that little triangle there. Yes. Take a screenshot. So on the bottom left, you'll see it says voice harmonics. This, I always suggest and recommend that people play that back for themselves or for their client. This is basically, you can hear how the Genius translated your actual recording into a frequency, and it does have some healing benefits to it, just like on the principle of homeopathy, like cancels out like. In the same way, when you hear the frequency, like cancels out like, and it will have some healing qualities. So I'm going to play that right now for you. Just want to make sure I'm sharing the sound. Here we go. Okay, so now we can just hit next. And continue. Now we have the photo, so I'm just going to take a screenshot here. Helga, smile pretty. And I'm going to add that to my iPhotos, so then we can just in a second. And I can go to existing photos since I just added it to my iPhotos. I am working on a MacBook Air that has an M1 chip. An M2 chip works as well, but that is how I was adding it. And here's your picture. And now we have the ability to edit it if we want. You can see the little props, like commands down below. I'm just gonna edit it just slightly because we can, and hit done. And there's your lovely picture. And we can hit begin analysis from here. Okay, so now we have the main page. For those, again, who are watching this, who have a trial or just purchase the basic verb package of the Genius, you will just see body, biofield, and mind. For those who have either created libraries or purchased libraries or have had friends that have the Genius that shared some of their libraries that they created with you, the custom libraries banner will appear on the bottom. Other than that, it's the same. It's all the same. We're working with the same app. So now here it's prompting you to ask if you want to use an energetic affirmation, similar to what we did with the voice, where the Genius translate the spoken word into a frequency. Here it will also translate the written word into a frequency as well. So you can add whatever affirmation that you want. The affirmation I like to use, and if it's okay with you, Helga, I'm just going to use that one. So all energies are transmuted into the frequency of pure love. And I just like to add, and so it is at the end. Okay, and so once I hit okay, the frequency of this will be overlaid every time you run frequencies within this session, but it is only good for this session. So you will be prompt every time you start if you want to add a affirmation there. I'm going to hit begin analysis. And as soon as I do that, you will see the body, biofield, and minds kind of like spinning around. Once it settles, that is in the order that the Genius feels is the priority to work on. So we will see. Okay, so it's showing us the biofield, body, and then the mind. And from here, it looks pretty good, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper within your mind today. But let's first just talk about the numbers and the colors a little bit. Before I get into that, I just want to pull up your aura picture. And the way we do that is you can just click on the line where it says aura and hit begin analysis. Okay, so we can view the aura. We see that the avatar is here in the middle. It's nice because we can see your picture, so we always know whose aura that we're looking at. But I always like to hide the avatar. That way we can see, get a full view of the aura. What we're generally looking for is bright, vibrant colors. You're going to see the 7 colors of the chakra, but you're going to see different shading of those 7 colors for each of the chakras. Generally speaking, when the color is bright and full of light, it's going to be highlighting more of the positive attributes of that chakra. If the colors are on the darker side, it can it's highlighting more of the negative attributes of that chakra. And paler colors would be that it's not getting that much energy. So roughly that's just a general rule. It's not, there are, people can see differently with their gifts and get different information from here, but those that are beginners and novice who are just purely looking at colors, I recommend looking at what the chakras colors mean. We also want to see that the colors are clear, bright, and vibrant. So when we're seeing like this muddiness or dirtiness or blurriness, it's a really good indication that there's stagnant energy in there, interference, or some kind of negative energy. Especially negative energies if you're seeing like a gray or black kind of like overlay. And you can learn more about the different levels of the aura, but we're not going to go into that now because we'll be jumping down a different rabbit hole. We also have the ability to look at the aura from the Genius 1.0. And that gives us good information. This is, we love to see the 4 corners filled with color. That tells us that you're grounded and you're in your body. So this looks generally good. You're coming up a little bit over here and maybe a little bit out of your body over here, but it's nice and bright in here. We're bringing in some other colors, maybe a little stagnant energy coming in here, but we can work on that. But I like those colors. Okay, so what do the numbers and the colors mean? So the Genius works on a numerical value system, 0 to 777. 0 to 200 is represented by the color blue, and items in this range are observed to be chronic energetic disturbances, meaning that you've had an energetic disturbance for a longer period of time. It can also be referred to as stagnant energy. Also, sometimes you might hear it referred to as under energy. And items that are in this range that are showing up as blue are causing crisis on the body. So you do want to work with these blues because your body is in crisis around those frequencies. The next range goes from 201 to 450. It's represented by the color green. From there, we go to 451 to 600, which is represented by the color yellow. And then lastly, 601 to 777 is represented by the color red. Items in this range are observed to be acute energetic disturbances, meaning that the disturbance is happening now in the present time. They don't always, a lot of times people might say that I doesn't resonate with me. A lot of times people who absorb frequencies from other people or absorb the energy from other people, that would be like empaths. If you're living with someone, you may pick up some of their frequencies, or if you're in a crowded public space or bar, anywhere where people are in your field that you could be picking up, you could see this. And maybe those energies are having a little difficulty processing through your body. So they're a little bit got stuck. So you do want to work with them to help move them out. That way they don't keep attracting that same frequency and end up as a blue. So it is important to work with both the blues and the reds. They do not, because the reds are a high number, it does not indicate that there is an excess. And a low number does not indicate a deficiency. These results are not diagnostic in the allopathic sense. They are strictly energetic. It's just picking up on the energetic. So you could not go to your Western medical doctor and say, hey, my vitamins are off, or my hormones are out of balance, because you're not comparing apples to apples. So it's just important to know that. What, if you want to know what range or what numbers are good numbers, for me, I work with a tighter range. So anything between 400 and 600 is okay. So I like to work with anything outside that range. So for the most part, when I'm looking at the system overview or any of the libraries, generally speaking, the yellows are okay. And most of the greens I would work with, as well as the blues and the reds, because the greens go from 201 to 450. So my range is between 400 and 600. So anything below that, I would tend to work with. So if you do see me working with greens, that's why. However, when you're starting out, I would keep it simple. Work with your reds and blues. An easy way to start out when you're just working with the genius is to use your quick balance. The quick balance will automatically run the reds and the blues. All you need to do is set how many minutes you want it to run for. And again, my recommendation when you're setting the timer is to start off slow. You could start with 1 minute and see how you do from there. We'll go over percent rectification a little bit later on in this demo, so you can get a better understanding of that. The next thing I just wanted to point out are these little arrows on the side. That's just letting you know that you could go a level deeper. You can see all the information if you click on it. That is one view, or if you click on the line, it gives you the same information, but now it's color coded. So it's a little bit quicker to know what you want to work with when you're looking at those. Plus, you couldn't use the quick balance. I don't think. I've never tried, but it's not color coded. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Claire, have you ever tried using the quick balance from this view?
No, because the quick balance will only work on the actual panel that you are viewing. So I don't think it's.
Yeah, I don't think it would work from there either. But you could always try. I don't know if it would work. Anyhow, the next thing I just wanted to show you, there is a little drop down tab here. This is just basically going to give you different views of the information on this page. You can't run a scan or frequencies from it. For example, if you want to look at the overview, it will tell you, so here there of all the results on the system overview page, 10.7% are red. I can't read that number. I think it's 28.7 26 are blue, 39.3 green, and 21.4 are yellow. If you want to know what your breakdown is or see over time, you know, if the blues, that percentage range is getting less, you know, that might be something that you would like to do. Other than that, it's just another way to look at the information. So what I work on first when I'm working with someone is I like to work on the foundational elements. Excuse excuse me, sorry. And how I go about doing this. If you don't have this particular library that I have, it's okay. I will show you how to get similar results. I suggest working with everything in the biofield first. You can drag everything from the biofield here into the main whole tray. And then I would also add minerals, vitamins, and amino acids. This is kind of priming your body and preparing it so that it can better absorb different frequencies that you bring in later, or biofield or auric field or energy field, or it all kind of means the same thing. You want that strong because that is kind of like our force field that's protecting us. So if our biofield is strong, ultimately our physical body will be strong and your body will be better able to get into homeostasis with that force field healthy. And then of course, for your cells to be healthy, you want it to be able to be absorbing all the essential nutrients that it needs. So that is the reasoning behind working with that first. So I have a custom playlist that I set up that I'm going to use. I've called it Start Here. And I will show you, I've used basically my bioterrain, the vessel priming library, which I'll show you in just a minute. But I can't use the custom playlist until I run the analysis on my custom. Okay, so for those of you that do have the biotrain, and number one, now when you're in the library section, this pull down black tab now brings you, instead of the different views, it gives you an advanced search bar. So you can put in on that, if you touch the magnifying glass, if I type in biotrain, you can see these are all the different biotrain libraries that are in the biotrain bundle. There are 37 here. So that just gives you an idea of the different things that are available to you. And you do see the vessel priming frequencies. I can click on this line and there are about, I think, 165 items in here. Again, working with the biofield, vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and I have added a few additional things that I thought were important to work on the foundation. I am going to just back out of here for a minute and use my Start Here, which adds about 100 more items in there. And I'm just going to work on those. So I'm going to hit. Okay, and I will select all, and I will put the timer on 1 minute. And there we go. this is wonderful. This little prompt came up and said, excellent, because the average rectification, which is down here on the bottom, is over 40%. And in this particular case, it's 60%. And that number comes from the average of the three numbers above it for harmony, alignment, and energy flow. And for me, my standard practice on this is I don't like this range if I want to see those numbers within 20%. I just find that it's more stable. So you are within that 20%. So it's great. And I'm happy with that. I would at that point hit rescan. So the 60%, the rectification rates are just probabilities. We don't know specifically which items are harmonized or which aren't harmonized. It's just based on the information and the algorithms it's used. That's the 60% is saying that the genius thinks that 60% of those 273 items that were in there have harmonized. So that's really great. I rescan it because then you get to see what becomes your new highs, mediums, and lows. And so for here, I just like to select then the lows and the highs, and I'll just run those for 30 seconds just to see if we can get a little extra help in here. Okay, now, so the percent rectification on that round is 26%. The harmony, alignment, and energy flow, that's all pretty tight. So that's not really a bad number. Anything over 20% is considered good. This is a demo, so I'm not going to try to like get that above 40% at this point. I think you guys pretty much are getting the main idea of that. So I'm going to back out of here now, and I'm going to clear what's in the main hold tray. And I do that by clicking on the clear all at the top right of the main hold tray box. And now the second thing I like to work with is the general overview, and you get there by clicking on system overview. And what happens here is that the Genius takes all the line items from the system overview page and from all the custom libraries, and it orders them in numerical value. So I have over 2,000 libraries, so I must have close to 80,000 line items. I've never counted them, but there's a lot in there. So don't be alarmed by seeing a lot of, the high 777, or if there's a lot of ones. If you only have 777 slots and over 80,000 line items, you're going to have, several in each slot. So that's why you're seeing all that. Again, the red are acute, so they're out of balance right now. I still think that they're important to work with. And the reason why I feel that the general overview is so important is because when you're doing energy healing work, anything can cause anything. So therefore, you might, like, say, for example, we're working on the brain. There could be items in here that can help work with the brain, but you never would have thought maybe to look at those line items. So the Genius is doing all that work for you. These could very easily be the root cause or the underlying cause of things that are going on within your body. So I am going to click on the crosshair or the plus sign right to the left of the main hold tray, and it gives me the ability to add the top 50 and the bottom 50. I am going to select that. Again, that's very helpful for me because I have so many items in here. If you don't have as many items, you may want to drag and drop, or you could hit select all the red items or all the blue items. But for me, that's not really a practical thing to do because I would have like 5,000 items in the tray. We can just give a quick look to some of the blue items, and here we're seeing some meridian points out of balance, some DNA nano components that are out of balance. We're seeing some ancestral lineage on the mother's side that's out of balance. I don't know if any of this resonates at all with you, Helga. We have, it could be safe to have strong boundaries. So I don't know if you feel you do have strong boundaries or you don't have strong boundaries. It's not saying that, it's saying that it's out of balance. So anyway, we have added those into the main hold tray. The next thing I like to do is remove all the libraries. And then this just gives us all the line items from the system overview page. And I like to do then the same thing by adding the top 50 and the bottom 50. But you could, that doesn't mean that this is the only way to do it. You could decide to add all the blue items if you want, work with those, get a 40% or above percent rectification and empty your tray out, then go back and work with all the red items. There are a number of different ways you can work with it. I'm working with it this way for the demo, and also because I have so many libraries that I can't add all my reds or adds the blues, but please adjust it to how it works best for you. And now we can go to the progressive insights. And again, we get there through the main hold tray by pressing the play button on the right, and we can hit begin analysis. And I'm going to select all and put the timer on 1 minute. Okay, so excellent. You had a 45% average rectification, so that's great. And again, the alignment, it's pretty tight here across the harmony, alignment, and energy flow. So that is great. I'm not going to run any more frequencies here because I do want to get into some of those other panels that we had talked about. So I am going to back out of here. Helga, do you just want to do a quick check in just to see how your neck is doing? I know I didn't work on any pain frequencies or anything, but just curious what may have showed up.
I think it's still about the same.
Still about the same. Okay, that's fine. Sometimes I just like to see how some of these items are working with it. So I am now going to go to my custom libraries, and I am going to first go to, where is this? There we are, optimizing brain function. And I'm going to add all of these areas into the main hold tray. And now I'm going to go back, and there is a bunch of different libraries in here, so we can look and see. We can work with the ones that are showing that have been out of balance for a longer period of time for you. So that would be the prefrontal cortex. So we can open these up, and I will add the blues, the greens, and the reds in there. So some of what's showing up in here, and you can let me know if any of this resonates with you. Some of these affirmations, I make plans and follow through. Do you feel that does that resonate in any way for you? Or I stay calm when the other person reacts with anger, or I think before I act.
I
Those
think,
would be. Go ahead.
I think, yeah, I think this resonates with me, but I wouldn't say that I would not have this. I think that I still have. I don't feel like it is imbalanced.
Well, that would be okay. These are just showing up as red. So again, this is just
Okay.
really showing up in the present. We can look more at what's showing as more chronically. So maybe this would be more representative of something that could possibly resonate for you. I focus on the task at hand. So this might suggest that maybe you lose focus easier, or I make excellent plans to help me manifest my goals. I
I
move.
think yeah, it could be imbalanced because I cannot focus. I do have a focus, but I get easily distracted.
Okay, so good. So these are making a little bit of sense for you. So we've added them in. Again, you can see that the reds may not tend to necessarily resonate, or it might just be in the moment for a specific thing, but you may not feel that it's a clear picture of you overall. The blues would probably represent that better. So we can back out of here now, and we can go to the basal ganglia assessment. And here we can also add the reds and the blues. And let's just scroll down to the blues to see if anything in here is resonating for you. I am drained of energy. I predict failure. I don't have the emotional energy for sex. Well, that may be too much information for all of us.
I think the energy drained of energy, that could be.
So hopefully, maybe working on these will help you get a little bit more energy back. Well, how about I feel fearful? Do you feel that you're fearful about a lot of things, or?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. So I'm just being a little bit mindful of the time. But so I just want to go back out. We have a 145 items in the tray, so we could look and add a few more in here. So I'm just going to let's look at the cingulate gyrus coherence corrections in here. And again, we can work on adding the blues and the reds. And here are some of the ones that would be blue, that would be on more chronic side, would be I shift my attention easily. And again, I think that falls under a focus issue. I am flexible. I am unable to control my worry and negative thoughts. So I feel happy and sleep well. How is your sleeping? Do you sleep okay?
I do wake up a lot this last few days. So,
Okay, so hopefully.
yeah, it could be better, I think.
Okay, great. So, you'll have to get back to me. Obviously, we're not going to know if this is going to change anything right now. So I think we've added those, right? Yeah. And lastly, we can just look at the deep limbic ones. And you just have one red and a few blue. So I'm just going to add those, and let's run the analysis for this now. Okay, and now again, I usually follow the same protocol. I'll start on selecting all the items and run them for 1 minute. So that's at 25%, and then we see harmony as at 14 and alignment energy at 31. So it's about within that area. I am going to run it again. I'm going to deselect all though and just run your highs and your lows for 30 seconds to see if we can get that percent rectification up higher for you. Okay, great. So that's up to 44%. And I'm happy with the range for harmony, alignment, and energy flow. So that is terrific. How are you feeling? Feeling good?
Yeah.
Good. I'm going to just clear this out now. And I'm just going to quickly run some pain frequencies for you to see if we can knock out some of here's your shoulder, hand. And again, I'm going to run all of these frequencies for you for 1 minute. Again, you did really great here. An average percent rectification of 54% and slightly over that 20%, but that's okay. Again, it's a demo. Yeah, I see you checking your neck. How any change, any shift, any change?
It might
So
be a 3.
a 3 now. So 3 from a 4, you said?
Mm.
Let's just see.
It was stiffer before. Now it is less stiff.
Less stiff. Okay, so that's great. Let's just see neck. And I'm just gonna the reds and the blues. Actually, I want to do something. This was something that I thought of doing earlier today, and I've never done this before, so this might be a kind of new little trick for everybody. If you open up all of these that have to do with the neck, and now you do a quick balance. The only problem is the timer, I don't know why, is not showing on the side, but I think I had it on 0. So I think I'm gonna lose all this, but let me just see. Yeah, it is on 0. Shoot, I have to do it again. Hold on. Okay, so if I open all of these all have something to do with the neck. And then I run a quick balance. I can work with all those libraries, just the reds and the blues. So there's a 36% rectification there, but it's pretty tight, so I'm happy with that. And yeah, I'm seeing Wendy and Jennifer. Isn't that cool? I figured that out today. So that's a really neat way of dealing with a lot of different libraries and just working with the reds and the blues on a quick balance. So I thought that was pretty cool. So you guys can, hopefully you guys will all start working with that, and maybe next week, let me know how you find it working with that. So, I don't know why, if it's just, a MacBook thing where the quick balance timer doesn't show up on the side. Or if that's for everything, I'll have to put in a little bug report to Ryan on that. But if anybody has the iPad open and wants to let me know if the timer is showing up on the side for you, that would be helpful. But I just thought that was really cool. Anyway, Helga, how does your neck feel after just running those items for your neck? Any improvement?
I feel like it got lighter. It's true.
Good. Good. So how would you, what number would you put it on now?
Maybe a 2.
Okay, great. So you had some improvement there. So that's awesome. Let's hope that it holds and stays. Sometimes, even though we make progress, the subconscious then brings the next layer of stuff up that we need to work on. So sometimes you take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but that's okay too. So let's now just go back and look and see what your aura looks like before we end the session for today. So I'm just going to hit begin and Ooh, to open up a lot of stuff in there. Okay, well, we did work with a lot of items in here, so I would let this settle. And then, actually, I don't really want to leave you like this. I'm just going to go to custom libraries and work with the grounding frequencies that I have here. And I'm just going to do a quick balance on this as well. That is really great. Now let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that your aura is a little happier right now. So that looks a little bit better. This is a nice green color in here. The blue you would want to work on. It's still, you know, it still has that blurriness to it. All the corners are filled in pretty much in there. It could be brighter, but you're making progress, so that's all good. So before we end, does anybody quickly have a question that I can answer or that you wanted to ask or need help with before we end today? And time for us to go, guys. I'm gonna stop the recording here. Thank you. Thank you, Helga, for being a volunteer for us. I really appreciate it. And until next week, I will see you all then. If anybody has any questions or anything that they would like to work on for next Thursday, please feel free to email me at Denise@Inside Health Apps, and I will be happy to, work on that in next week's Thursday live. So again, thank you, everybody. It's always a pleasure seeing you, and I will see you next week.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Denise. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
You too, Mitzi.